Today we are here interviewing Steve and Mickey, the Vintnerd and the Vintnerd's wife, who are in charge of VCF SoCal. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves better than I did?
Well, I'm actually the Miss Vintnerd's husband.
Right.
So
I was going to say that too.
She's actually running.
Let her go first.
Yeah, I'm Mickey. I help Steve with the Vintnerd YouTube channel that we developed during the pandemic. And for VCF SoCal, I am the showrunner, and Steve is the producer.
Wow,
Oh, that is awesome.
We were children of the Silicon Revolution, an X generation conscripted to fight the console and home computer wars. A product of an analog 70s childhood, we came of digital age in the 80s, believing we could affect the world 8 bits at a time. Armed with joysticks, full-stroke keyboards, Jolt Cola, and MTV haircuts, we proceeded into the vertical blank. There, we stayed up late at night, devising incantations from D&D rulebooks and beginners' all-purpose symbolic instruction code. Video games were the match, and programming was the fuse, as the infinite possibilities of the digital world exploded into the internet age to come. We are Generation Atari.
Into the vertical blank.
What was the process by which you guys decided that you were going to take this huge job of doing the show?
Well, if I may say, I'm Steve Diederich, Mr. Vintnerd, or the Vintnerd on YouTube. And may I go ahead?
Sure.
Well, it started because I dragged Mrs. Vintnerd to a VCF. Well, she really wanted to go. We went to VCF Southwest in Dallas. We actually went there wondering, could we pull off a VCF here? But, we weren't sure. We just wanted to enjoy it, and we exhibited the Vintnerd there, and we asked a lot of questions. And we decided after it that it was so much fun that we wanted one here in our own backyard. All the people you meet, all the devices, the computers, the new products, the old products, it's all fun. And everybody's just there to have a nice time. So that was really the genesis. Was we liked our experience in Dallas, that we thought, and we are, pulling one off here in Southern California.
Well, and we also had 2 full days of driving, so we had to talk about it. So.
Yeah, one day out of Texas and one day to the rest of the way to California.
So I'm interested about the Vintnerd itself. So how did you get the YouTube? What was the impetus to get the YouTube channel started during the pandemic?
Mrs. Vintnerd, which was just Mickey at that point, just Steve and Mickey, suggested.
Congratulations!
Thank you. Suggested that maybe I should tell other people about this instead of her so much.
We all have
He gave a lot of information, and I thought, this is content, and
Yeah.
he acquired one of his childhood machines, not the model of his childhood machine, and was sharing lots of information. I said, I do branding, I do marketing, I do event planning. I can do one side of this. If you want to be the talent and talk about what you know and what you're excited about these machines, I think we've got a channel.
What machine?
I'm just the nerd.
What machine was
So
that?
I got back in the retros before the pandemic. I mean, this wasn't just solely pandemic driven. I was buying Ataris. I used to upgrade them as a kid, doing repairs and stuff. And I'm like, it'd be kind of fun to get some off eBay or pick some up used somewhere and tweak them and fix them. And the pandemic hit, and then I got deeper into it, and that's where we're like, let's start a YouTube channel on this. Let's have some fun with it.
Now, is the Atari 800
cool.
the one that is the Atari 800 your big deal machine?
No, my first personal computer was the Atari 400.
I have one.
Still Atari 8-bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Well, and that's the one that they're miniaturizing.
Yeah, the Mini 400.
Which
Can't wait.
Which we're very excited about, just because I know that it's not exactly what we all want, but we're still very excited about it because it puts the Atari 8-bit computers in the forefront where they should be. And
Right.
And they have not been there basically at all.
Well, they did the C64 Mini, and then they came out with the C64. Well, I don't think it's called Max. It's just the C64 full size. So I'm hoping they come out with the 800 full size.
Yeah, exactly. Not a 400 full size, an 800 full size.
Yeah, or even an 800 XL.
No, it's cool, but that's after. That's later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah. So definitely I've noticed you have lots of different Ataris back there. I even see a Commodore 64 and an Aquarius. What are the machines?
The Aquarius just showed up this week.
Oh.
The Aquarius is right there on the left. Well, to me, on my left.
Yeah. Let me tilt this a little bit, and we get to row number 2 up there.
Oh, is that a 1200? No, it's an 8. Is it 1200?
There's a 1200 up there.
I'm gonna break into Steve. So this is fascinating, and you talked a little bit about 400 being your first machine. Could you tell us a little bit about your technical beginnings? How did you get into computers? What were you excited about, and then what was your sort of pathway into adulthood?
Well, electronics. Before computers, it was electronics. I was a Radio Shack mall rat. I'd pick up the grab bag. I remember those grab bags. They put all the old parts in a bag that they needed to get out of inventory. And they put $5 mystery bag. So I'd be buying those. I'd be putting things together, soldering, and I'm really surprised I never electrocuted myself with some of the things I tried. So, 120 volts onto a heavy triac into the Atari joystick to click lights on and off. So that was fun. So, got into electronics. I was taking radios apart, took my mother's calculator apart, and then hid it in a drawer because all the springs are, and then computers, when I got into high school, that was in 9th, probably 10th grade when I got to the actual high school. And they had terminals there to an HP 2000 mainframe back at what we called Central Tech. And I had access after school. And 13 years old, what are you doing after school? I'm just hanging out there in the computer room and programming BASIC, writing some network applications, fun game stuff. And then eventually went to Central Tech like the next year and worked on the terminals there. VT100, and we got some graphic terminals, vector terminal. And somewhere in there, I got my Atari 400, started programming at home. Went to the user groups, eventually landed what do you call it? A man of many hats or boy of many hats job at a computer company that was making products for the Atari 8-bit and eventually Atari ST products in my hometown. So I was working there.
Were you in the Valley? Were you in Orange County? Where were you when you?
I was in upstate Syracuse, New York.
Oh, Syracuse!
Oh, wow.
Okay, so you weren't here. Got it.
So Syracuse University, go SU basketball, right? All that.
Yes.
I think in that way I was fortunate that there was somebody there that was doing that kind of work for the Atari 8-bits, and I would go around to Comdex and CES and Atari shows, and we'd show off our products. So it was a very fun beginning of my computer history. And from there, I went into selling computers and MIDI, and then eventually started computer consulting, my own business, and just been doing that for years.
You had a history in going to computer shows when you were young too, right? Since it's not a new thing.
No, I don't know, maybe my first show was 17 or 18.
On a different interview, I heard that the computer at your high school was an HP 1000, which was at our high school too.
2000.
Oh, 2000.
The HP 2000.
I think we had a 1 or 2000. There were a whole bunch of terminals that looked like PCs.
So you probably remember going to the administrator console where you had to make the magic commands to make your account readable, writable, or storage or whatever. You probably screwed around with that like all us teenage kids.
Well, Mr. Scott wouldn't let us near it, and we made a lot of jokes about Mr. Scott and his computer because he wouldn't let any of us touch it. But so we probably did go in there though. But I did hear that there was a couple other people that from Southern California that are working on the VCF with you guys. They're both from Santa Barbara. They didn't know each other. I heard a little story where there was an interesting meet cute, I guess we could call it that, about with computer dudes. So how many people are working on this with you guys?
We've got 6 of us together. Rob Sherman, who's Southern Amos, the BBS guy, and then also in LA is Jason Moore, who runs Atari Projects.
Right.
So he's
you guys
also
know
got a
Jason.
project, right?
Yeah, we do know.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then the folks in Santa Barbara that you're talking about are Polymat and Levi Maya, who Polymat has a YouTube channel, and Levi is really a man of all trades.
Wow.
Anything you can think of, he does it.
Yeah.
He's a pilot. He made a documentary.
He's
a podcast.
Wow. He's the commissioner of the Santa Barbara Airport.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I did hear that there's various computer interests between these 6 people too. I know that, Jason Moore and you are kind of Atari, but there's other, the guy that runs the Atari BBS, he's kind of Atari.
Yeah, Polymat's into the early Macs as well as the IBM ThinkPads.
Yep.
Which I think I may have mentioned is close to my heart. I like the IBM ThinkPads.
So tell us a little bit about your technical pathway.
I started on a TRS-80 doing mainly Oregon Trail. I don't think we did much programming on that. That was grade school, and then junior high we programmed on Apple IIe's, and my parents got a Commodore 64 at home, and Gore-Tex and the microchips taught you programming, so on tape drive. So I did, programming on that, little things. Anytime we would go to Circuit City or someplace like that, I would wander off to the, computers and write a little program that wrote Mickey across the
Didn't we all?
Well, after the Commodore 64, the breadbox one, they got the SX64, which is the luggable. And I actually, if you look on the bio page on the website, on the VCF SoCal, there's a photo of me leaning into the little, 5-inch screen to do whatever I was doing at that time.
Add that in, Steve. We did have experience with that SX64 for
That's right,
days,
yeah.
and it's fantastic. For right now, about VCF, we're a few weeks away, like 3 weeks away.
Yeah, 3 weeks and 1 day from today.
And how many? What are your prospects right now? How many people you have coming? Do you need more people, not to come, but to demonstrate? Do you need more tables to be purchased? What do you need that we can broadcast out that we can get people to come do in Southern California?
Well, I was just going to take a look and do a count. We have 41 exhibitors and vendors, a mix of mostly exhibitors, and then about 7-8 vendors. So that's pretty good. We're up to 41, but I was going to do a table count. You want to talk about speakers for a second?
Yeah, we've got a really good set of speakers. I'm still finalizing the daily schedule, but we'll have some really fun panels on Sunday. I think I may have mentioned before, Bill Hurd, we're trying to rope him into a game show style event. And then we've got some folks from the former San Diego Computer Museum, and then the current a computer museum up in the IE. And so they're going to talk about preserving computing history, as well as getting next generations involved in understanding and learning about the history of computers.
Wait, did you say there's a computer museum in the Inland Empire? Is that what you're saying? But I want to know where this is, honestly.
Yeah, it's the Paul Gray PC Museum. And it is on the campus of Claremont. I get Claremont and Montclair mixed up.
Yes.
They're right next to
That's
each
where
cool
Pomona
place.
College is, though. That's like a really prestigious liberal arts school right there. The Pomona Colleges, I guess you call it.
Yeah, this one's specifically at the Claremont Graduate University.
Oh, cool.
And so Anna, who is the current executive director, will come down and talk about working at the museum.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, and then after that is the Blue Sky Rangers.
Oh, my God.
Oh, nice.
In television programmers. And so they're going to do a panel interview. So lots of fun on Sunday. We've got a lot of folks coming on Saturday, but we want to really advertise what's happening on Sunday. That's
cool.
Coming back.
Mm-hmm. That's
awesome.
There's a lack of, for all the people that are in Southern California, there's a lack of things out here, shows to do like this. There's been one. There was a video game one a couple years ago, Steve, right? The other Steve Fulton, but there's nothing really like this. So you would hope that it's going to be just a wave of people coming because nothing ever happens here. Although you'd think more things would happen. Too many people that just are too laid back. They don't want to put something on. So they don't take on the jobs like you guys do.
So how hard have you found it to get people interested in this? Because it does seem like there is there is a little bit a lack of interest, and maybe Steve or were you guys ever into Maker Faire, for example? Maker Faire never really took off down here in any way whatsoever the way it did in Silicon Valley. But there's lots of engineers down here, right? And it's seemingly like I don't really understand the apathy. But are you guys finding an apathy, or you just think you've discovered, the key ingredient to get people to come out?
I think we have. We this past weekend we started some targeted advertising in Facebook, and to concentrate. At this point, if you can still come to the show from out of state, but hotels, you got to find some more hotel options.
That's good news.
The host hotel is for our event and other things in town. It's filling up.
That's good.
So we did some targeted advertising to let people local know who can drive, for the day there. And hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of visits to our site.
Perfect.
People signing up for more information, the comments online, the likes on the postings that we did, the sharings of those. It sounds like there's a lot of people that just are hungry for this. And there, like you said, there has not been a festival show like this. Like you said, there's other ones.
There's other little things, right?
Yeah.
Oriented things.
But something this size and focusing on vintage retro tech, it's one of the reasons we decided to do it, because there isn't anything this big going on. So speaking of that, I have numbers here. We have 41 exhibitors, vendors, and they are comprising 67 tables. Tables are going to be about they're going to be 6 foot, maybe some 8 foot ones, so we have enough tables. So there's going to be 67 tables, and the grand ballroom that we went with, which you may have seen on other interviews we've done, but for listeners now, Mickey started with all the locations in town in this area in Southern California, LA metro area.
Yeah, are you guys OC?
No,
we live in the South. Oh, I live in the South Bay. Jeff lives in.
I'm in Ventura. I know.
Oh, okay. You guys are more north. Okay. Gotcha.
Are you OCD?
OCD for sure.
Okay.
When it comes to Atari, that's for sure.
Yeah. So Mickey got it down to 30 or so, and then started working with just under a dozen, and then finally got down to Hotel Farah, and the grand ballroom. We were never going to fill it with all exhibitor tables, but we're like, how many can fit in this room if we did? And it's 120 tables. So we plan on putting consignment in the same room for like 1/3 of it. So that leaves about 80 space for 80 tables max, which would be a little, elbow room problem. So we were looking, somewhere in the 70 range for the number of tables, and that's where right now we're up to 67 tables filled.
Wow.
An area we were planning at somewhere in the 70s.
Yeah, we're not totally maxed out. We're not saying that.
But we want people to know that they want a table they can get.
So
we'll
what about tickets?
What about tickets? What about tickets?
I don't think it's a big room. We've got capacity. So we're not selling out right now.
We're gonna sell out.
Yeah, no, you are. No, hurry up and get your tickets, everyone, because it's going to sell out.
I don't want you guys to mistake us talking about apathy as like some reason why we think this is a bad idea.
I think
we think this is an amazing idea. We've just
idea.
noticed that there hasn't been anything, right? There's a couple video game shows, like retro game shows, which are okay, but when you go to them, they're mostly like 90s and above, mostly like Nintendo era and above, and it's okay. And so it's great, honestly, to see that something is here. I'm kind of amazed that it was even going to be in Orange County. So these usually these happen once a year or twice a year.
The VCFs traditionally are annually. There's the one in Northern California, and they've got the Chicago and East in New Jersey. There's one in Georgia that's part of
Southeast,
the Kentucky Fried Gaming. Yeah. And then the Southwest, which is in Dallas. And so we actually planned ours to be kind of off season for the rest of them, because a lot of them are in, colder, snowy areas. So February is perfect for Southern California. So we're investing in this, the effort that we're making right now. We intend to last a few years, that we're trying to set up. We're trying to emphasize the social aspect of this event. And so if people have a good time, meet new people, learn something, then we did a good job.
I will mention there are gift buttons on the bottom of the website.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So it's been nice. People are supporting the show, but we can always use more. We're again, like you said, we're 3 weeks away, and we've got to buy electrical cables, speaker system. We've got options on some of those, but we want to make sure we have enough. And it's funds. Funds can get a little tight sometimes.
Yes.
But it's going to happen. We're determined that it's going to be a great year, and that if it turns out, as long as we don't have an earthquake or something, right? We'll get lots of attendance, and we'll be set to do it, second year, third year. We're looking right now at least a 3-year plan. We're spreading out the expenses on that. So we'll have a little bit invested in that to keep it going the next couple of years. And hopefully if that works, we'll just keep doing it as long as we can. It'll just be fun.
That's fantastic. I'm so excited that something is going to be local here. Usually just reading about people going to these great shows and going,
well, we hear about them on the Antic podcast. They always list every show imaginable. There's nothing in Southern California, but there will be one now. Thank you guys so much for actually doing this and taking the time, because Steve and I have lived here in Southern California for a long time. Never once wanted to create a show because it's such a.
I did think about it once.
I know. I'm like, we thought about
it. How? When am I going to find the time? Now I'm getting the time because the kids are all going to college and stuff. But
right.
But before it was like, no way. There's no way to pull anything like that.
Well, and that's the general demographic. Like, our kids are both out of the house. All 4 of them are out of the house. And that's our target market.
That's the time.
Empty nesters.
Yeah, found some income and is like, hey, remember that machine I had as a kid? I think I can reacquire that.
That's
it's cool. So can we? If I come with a pocket full of cash, right? What can I expect to buy at VCF this year, or the types of things?
No, that's your gig.
Well, a ticket to get in.
Well, yeah, that's it first.
If you forgot to pre-order on the site, just to mention it's $25 a day or $50 for the weekend. But right now, if you pre-order on the site, it's $40 for the weekend pass, which will be $50 at the door. So
right.
So keep that in mind. T-shirts. Mickey is working on finishing up the design for the T-shirt, which is it's going to be rad. I've seen
it's got some nice SoCal flavor. I tried to do an homage.
We got beach, surfing, whatever.
Wait, speaking of that, you know that Orange, California is where Computer Games Plus was, which is the store that Steve and I drove to almost monthly from down here, not in Orange County, to buy Atari ST games. Like, that's where it was. It was in Orange, California. That's where we went. It was near Chapman College. In fact, Chapman College, which is close to where you guys are doing this, is where the guy fixed my Atari ST disk drive, because the band used to fall off it all the time, and he had to glue it on so the disk drive would work. Anyway, I don't know if you were STs or not.
I forgot the best part.
Oh.
We bought our Atari ST. From Art who ran that store's trunk in a parking lot in like it might have been a Target, because there was no storefront.
This is before you opened the store.
It was at the time when Atari had such poor distribution that you had to buy it from someone's trunk. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, because it was $100 cheaper than the people down the street from us that were selling it too.
That's right.
But they were selling it in a vacuum cleaner store. Seriously.
Okay.
Nice.
Lamar Micro. Oh, it was a Lamar Micro was a vacuum cleaner store, and then it turned back into it again after the ST stopped selling. It was just anyway. Atari. That's Trammell. That's Trammell's distribution for you right there. From Gemco and
Right,
Toys R
right.
Us to the back of someone's trunk and the vacuum cleaner store. Anyway, so
besides the T-shirts, we have vendors. I believe 8 of them at this point. Is it 8? But I haven't seen their stuff, but what I've been told is going to be, lots of accessories, some newer products. Aquarius Plus is going to be represented.
Really?
Here. Yep. And television from Televisionaries. And then some general product vendors who will bring, the extra systems and cases, and, we'll find out. One thing I thought about doing in the next couple of weeks is asking the exhibitors and vendors, take a photo of what you're bringing. It doesn't have to be set up and looking beautiful. Just, don't have the bathroom door open. But, take a photo for us to share that what people can see, and as well as the vendors, hopefully they can take some photos of their storage area or something like that.
Very cool.
And then consignment.
So, yes, consignments. So we have a consignment area where any attendee or exhibitors or whatnot can put their product, their old computer, something, whatever retro vintage related, into consignments, and it'll be on display for people to walk through consignment and pick it up, try it, maybe not try it out. We're a little concerned about plugging in random things.
Oh, right, yeah.
right.
But check it out at consignment, cash out with it and take it home.
Now, will there be a free table?
Yep, we're definitely having a free table, which will probably end up being more like a free area because, the heavier stuff will be on the ground and, boxes. So we experienced the free tables at VCF Southwest and up at VCF West. And it's pretty cool. Sometimes people just don't want to bother selling their item, or maybe it's half broke, but somebody can use the half working parts. Odd accessories, maybe a bracket from a computer that, the computer's lost, but you got the bracket, maybe somebody else can use it. So those are the kind of things you'll find at the free table.
Sounds fantastic. And then also just the camaraderie and hanging out with people. Now, that like-minded folks, when we used to go to the Southern California gun shows out here with my dad, they used to have great food like hot dogs and pickled eggs.
Yeah, the hotel has a restaurant and bar, which is, I think, our key feature. We're going to have, we're supposed to have a custom VCF SoCal drink.
Oh.
So you should try that out. And then the hotel itself is located in what used to be called the Block of Orange. It's called Outlets of Orange. And so I think that there's 26 restaurants over there in that mall. So
within walking distance,
within like a 5-minute walk. Yeah. So if you want, if you want to stay in the hotel and just eat from there, their restaurant's great. It's called The Peel, and we got a little sampler platter of appetizers last time we were there. It's fantastic. Or just a quick walk. I think there might be an El Torito Grill like immediately close. There's a Wendy's right across the street. And then, lots more Dave & Buster's and a bunch more restaurants in that block.
Sounds better than pickled eggs and hot dogs, I can tell you that.
Sounds better than the gun show, actually.
Sounds much better than the gun show. Except, anyway, anyway.
I was just going to say, we did find Atari cartridges at the gun show.
We did find a cartridge at the gun show. Steve and I had purchased... No, stories for the gun show for another time. But when we did go with my dad, we looked for Atari cartridges and found a guy selling them, and we got Raiders of the Lost Ark for the Atari 2600 at a gun show in 1982 at the Pomona Fairgrounds. But anyway, that's stories for another time.
What excites you guys the most about this upcoming VCF?
Like I said, it's the social component. Is connecting folks. I think I mentioned that we might do meetups throughout the day, some themed meetup. One would be like ham radio operators, maybe former IBM employees, some
That's cool.
category that you might fall in or interest that you have, and we'll have a designated area. Everyone goes there, exchanges information. And then the other fun
I like
thing,
that.
the
That's
social-
neat. That's neat.
Yeah. Another social component is, when the show shuts down, we're all there in the hotel. We'll just hang out, move to the bar. They've got a nice outdoor patio and fountains and fire pits and stuff, and just hang out. They have pickleball courts if anyone needs to play.
There's your pickles, Jeff. It's on the pickleball court.
It's on the pickleball court, right? Yes. That's going to die out soon, and all those courts are going to go to waste. Yeah, I mean, that sounds fantastic. It sounds like you guys are thinking about the social component, which kind of is sort of what us retro people who hang out in their homes all the time need.
We had user groups back in the day. And we had a monthly user group for our Atari user we go to. And it was, even though you were still at home most of the time, there was at least a social component then, right? I mean, you would meet people and then even call them on BBSs, but you didn't call them on BBSs and that's all you did. You could meet them in person. It doesn't happen that much anymore. So I think it's really cool that you guys are trying to pull a social component out. And in those shows I've gone to that are video game shows, I don't think they have that. That's not the focus, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's the struggle with like a convention center. We were looking at convention centers, but then everyone disperses back to wherever they came from. So that's why we did the hotel. We'll see if we can keep this model. The hotel is expensive. So if we can keep this model, that's our preferred model. So the first time around, we're trying to do it right.
And do we have confirmation that a Savitz or an Antic podcast member will be at this show? I know that.
Randy.
I know Randy's going to be there. He interviewed you guys. I listened to that interview a couple weeks ago, and I was like, wait a minute, we need to talk to the Vintnerd.
Isn't Jason Moore going to be there as well? But is he going to be speaking?
We don't have him on the calendar right now, but I think he and Rob were in the wings just in case we needed to fill a spot.
Yeah, they offered to speak, but they wanted to give other people a chance. Rob Sherman is exhibiting Southern Amos, and Jason Moore is exhibiting. I want to say he's exhibiting his Atari Projects webpage, but he's doing more than that. So they're heavily involved, as well as Levi is exhibiting his Apple II GS. Is it? Sorry, Levi. And unfortunately, Polymat could not make the show. Yeah. Business took him away.
What about? I thought I saw Thomas Cherryholmes on that list as well.
Yeah, he'll be there. He's going to speak on Saturday, talking about where FujiNet is going. Sean Harrington of the Aquarius Plus is going to talk about his system. Evie will be talking about the backbit systems and getting those all set up. Randy is on Saturday as well. Scott Swayze will be there on Saturday with his DEC GT40, and he's going to talk about Lunar Lander, in its early years.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then also, I think on Saturday, Sean Haas, who is a podcaster, Advent of Computing, he's going to talk about the Cryoton, which was a precursor or a potential replacement of a vacuum tube.
Hold on. I think I've got Advent of Computing on my podcast list. Wait, I see one here. VCF SoCal interview with Mickey and Steve from Advent of Computing.
Oh, you did one already.
There you go.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah,
it's the latest episode.
If you go to our website, vcfsocal.com, at the top, we started listing where we have been in the media.
Oh, fantastic.
And so as soon as you guys have this edited up and posted, of course, you'll get us a link and we'll get that up on the website. But all the speakers that Mickey just talked about are also on the speakers page on the website, where there's more speakers coming, but they haven't finished confirming what and when.
Yeah.
As well as the schedule will be posted on that speakers page as you get them squared away in which hour.
Very soon. Just ticking things off that to-do list.
Yes. I'll be honest with you. If you guys had 0 speakers and it was just 4 people with computer tables, I'd be there anyway.
Yeah, we'd be there
I just want to. So excited that something's going to happen. I'm glad there's a lot more, right? I'm glad there's a lot more stuff, but just the fact that someone is going to put together a vintage computer show and do it in Southern California is so exciting. So thank you guys, first of all, for doing it. And we really appreciate the effort that people go to do this type of thing, because we know there's not a lot of money in there. we know that you have to do these type of things for the love of it,
Yes.
right? How about that?
We know it's your second full-time job right now, especially for making.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not. There's a lot of
appreciate it.
work, and it's very appreciated by us. I'm sure everybody's going to appreciate all the work, and hopefully that comes in the form of tips to the contribute button below.
Yes,
So
thank
with
you.
that-
Thank you.
So yeah, but thank you guys very much for doing it. It's really nice to meet you, and I look forward to seeing you guys at the show. It's going to be really cool.
Exactly.
No, look forward to meeting in person.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much, and it's going to be a great time in a couple weeks.